So today, we're going to break down the blueprint for a young entrepreneur, and we're starting where every great business begins with a single, simple idea. I mean, think about that for a second. What if a crayon drawing could actually launch a career? It sounds a little playful, right? But this is pretty much exactly where the journey starts, turning that pure, simple creativity into the foundation for some real-world ambition. And there it is. That's the call to action that kicks this whole thing off. It's fun, it's creative, and honestly, it's one of the first, most real steps a young person can take toward thinking like an entrepreneur. So let's start with that very first spark. How do you take a creative idea and actually give it some structure? Well, it all begins with something that seems super simple. It really just breaks down to these three core questions. 1, what's your business called? 2, what are you selling or what service do you offer? And 3, how can people actually find you? Answering these isn't just a fun little art project. It's literally the first draft of a business plan. And that's the key right there. This simple card, it does way more than just capture an idea. It actually forces a young mind to build a complete model of a business, from its name to what it offers. It's a business plan in its absolute purest form. And this just nails the mindset we're trying to build, doesn't it? Every huge company you can think of, Apple, Disney, you name it, it all began with one small idea, maybe one that could have fit on a little hand-drawn card just like this. So that's the real question, isn't it? Beyond all the fun and the creativity, what practical skills are actually being developed when a kid sits down to design their first business or share their idea with someone? Well, this brings us to the core benefits of getting that early exposure. It's not just about creating a bunch of future CEOs. It's really about equipping kids with a toolkit for life, just by building a foundation of these essential skills. Just look at the skills being fostered here. You've got financial literacy, critical thinking, a sense of responsibility, creative problem solving. These aren't just business skills. These are assets for any career in absolutely any field. Ultimately, what it does is it demystifies the world of business. It takes it from this abstract thing that adults do to something really concrete. It shows both the practical steps, the how, and the real purpose behind it all, the why. But of course, the real world isn't quite as simple as a classroom exercise. Because once that idea leaves the drawing board, young founders, they face a very, very different set of obstacles. The path definitely isn't always smooth. And here's that contrast just laid out for you. On one side, the dream is fueled by creativity, by fun. But on the other side, reality hits. And that involves some really tough challenges. Finding the money to get started, locating mentors who can actually guide you, and of course, overcoming those psychological barriers like doubt and fear. So, how do they get over these hurdles? Well, research points to one overwhelmingly critical factor: a strong support system. Now, the sources call this a vital enabling mechanism. Okay, that's kind of a technical term for something incredibly human, a family that believes in you. It's the kind of support that makes a risky new venture feel not just possible, but also desirable, like something that's really worth doing. And this support becomes even more crucial in environments where, being an entrepreneur isn't the norm. When the culture around you might be a little skeptical, the family's profound influence can literally be the deciding factor between an idea that takes off and one that just fizzles out. So, looking ahead, the whole landscape for these young entrepreneurs is already shifting. What does the near future actually hold for the next generation of founders? The trends for 2026 are already pointing towards a really specific type of founder. We're seeing this rise of the solopreneur, basically a one-person business. They're super focused on niche markets, and they're often operating remotely. Their plans are pragmatic, not just idealistic daydreams, and they lead with that natural adaptability that really defines Gen Z. So the takeaway here is pretty clear. The successful young founder of tomorrow is going to be lean, focused, and a digital native. They'll be leveraging technology to stay adaptable and serve very specific targeted communities. Which brings us right back to the beginning, doesn't it? That first business card, whether it was real or just imagined, it was a snapshot of a single idea. It was a starting point. The real question is, after all the learning, the growing, and adapting, what comes next?